It's Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. Since 2010, your weekly source for independent New York Red Bulls news and opinion. Now, from the Joe Goldstein studio, here's your host, Mark Fishkin.
It's Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. New York picks up a statement win against a solid Chicago side. A come-from-behind win that was not always pretty, but definitely effective. I'm here, Mark Fishkin, with Gustavo Guimarães. How are you, Gustavo?
Mark, feeling good. Thank you. Always a pleasure for being here again.
Awesome. Always a pleasure for us. If you would like and subscribe to this show on YouTube. Subscribers, very, very important. Very, very important. Okay, tonight on the show, we're going to go inside the win over Chicago. One of the prettiest goals you will see. We'll give our Bull of the Week, as we always do. We're going to preview New York's visit to Orlando. It's match day 8 coming up, and New York will have played Orlando twice, and we'll be done with them for the regular season, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. No guests this week. It's a short week. Very, very busy schedule this week, so we're going to kind of give you the nuts and bolts and then get to some great emails, and we're going to kick it off right here. So, Gustavo, an interesting lineup for Sandro Schwartz. Carballo starts for the first time this year, big positive. Serge Goma and Mohamed Sofo start after quality substitution minutes last week. Tim Parker starts for the first time this year on a 4-man back line. A lot more attack into the match. I asked Schwartz last week, how do you get guys like Goma and Sofo going when they're only playing a few minutes a match? I'm not taking credit, but it was a different look. What do you think?
It was a different approach. I didn't expect him to start the youngsters, especially Sofo coming off an injury. I was surprised to see Hack sitting, staying outside too. Was nice to see Parker. Was actually, I was a little bit strange watching that lineup when it came out, when the team made it public. But then, during the first half, I was pleased to see what they've done.
Yeah, and it was the first half that over the first 20 or 25 minutes, similar to what we've come accustomed to seeing in the Sandro Schwartz era, New York playing on the front foot, controlling the possession, not really getting quality attacking moments per se. Only took 2 shots over that first half hour, but they had a lot of the ball. I think Chicago was content to just counterattack, to hit those diagonal long balls, which is really the key to unlocking New York as it's been in the energy drink soccer era. But, playing with Tim Parker in the middle, playing with Noah Ayla in the middle, I mean, certainly the not the most fleet of foot. And just about the half hour mark, we saw Kuipers and Zinkernagel pop a ball up to Bamba, and he had a really quality finish all alone on Coronel. I thought Coronel might have done a little bit better, but Bamba was in all alone. And a similar look to what we've seen of late, perhaps, that New York controls the early minutes of the game and then finds themselves down 1-0.
Don't want to blame only Coronel, but I think Dylan could have done a better job as well, because he was really up front, left a lot of space behind him, and Bamba made the damage there. Coronel, yes, I agree with you. I think he could have also done a better job closing the spaces, maybe more, maybe faster towards going outside the ball to cover. But it is what it is. Not quality chances, as you said. But then comes the turnaround, right?
Yeah, then comes the turnaround. I mean, from where I was in the South Ward on Saturday night, and from where I was sitting, Noah Ayla's ball to Omar Valencia, I mean, it was a rope. It was right between 2 Chicago defenders, and then Omar Valencia, oh my, finds himself on the MLS Team of the Week for not only his drive down the left side, but a picture perfect cross that Serge Goma headed down perfectly and in and tied the game. I mean, for all of the talk about the experience on New York's roster, on the, Hack brought in Tim Parker coming back, Forsberg and Chupo, here are three teenagers and young 20-somethings connecting for, again, when New York seems to score this year, it's either a goal of beauty or it's a penalty kick. There doesn't really seem to be much in between, but that was absolutely gorgeous.
And if you recall, Valencia had another perfect cross at the beginning of the game, which Serge also headed to the goal. So it's so nice to see him getting better and better week after week. Quality passes, smart going upfield too. Ayla's pass was beautiful.
Oh,
The
my
whole
goodness.
play, and it was a state of art play.
Yep. Dylan Nealis driving into the box in first half injury time. I don't know how many penalty kicks Dylan Nealis has earned in his career, but a really, really poor tackle by Chicago. Choupo-Moting with the cheeky finish right down the middle as Brady jumps to his right. And in the blink of an eye, New York turns a 1-0 deficit into a 2-0 lead. And scoring in first half injury time is so demoralizing for the team receiving that goal. And New York goes in up 2-1. The second half was not quite as attractive for New York. Yes, the Red Bulls were able to close out the game, but once again needed to rely on the skill and speed of Carlos Coronel, who made a few spectacular saves. New York was outshot by Chicago 10-3 in the second half. 5 shots saved by Coronel, including 3 in about a 6 or 7 minute span around the 70th minute mark. Was in doubt, frankly, till the end of the game, if New York was going to be able to escape with 3 points. They didn't really have a lot going forward. But Gustavo, we've talked about New York playing to the level of their opponent. And by all accounts, it's happened 4 weeks in a row. They played to Orlando's level, right, in the 2-2 draw, very entertaining draw. They played to Toronto's very poor level and escaped with a 2-1 win. They definitely played to New England's level and lost 2-1 on a last-second penalty. And here, against a team that I think we can all agree is a better quality side than Toronto or New England, they were able to match them up. It did get squirrely at the end, but New York was able to get over the line and get the win.
Yes, obviously you don't want the team to suffer so much during the second half. Being a fan, it's not the first time. It's been going on for the past matches. We saw the same against Orlando, where Coronel had to step up towards the end of the game.
Yeah,
It's the same. It was I was thinking about that match when I was watching the game too. So there's something the team needs to address. Maybe the players, maybe the style of play, it's killing them during the first half, and there's nothing during the second half, during especially during the last 15 minutes of each game. It's been the same.
well, let's take a look at who Schwartz decided to bring on. Right, he didn't start a number of players that had been getting starts over the course of the season. Dennis Yengar comes in with 20 minutes to play, along with Wiki Carmona. Peter Stroud comes in for Caravaggio, which again I thought he had a solid performance, including a rocket of a shot in the first half that was likened to me for what we saw against NYC in the playoffs. Just a blast that Brady was able to parry over the bar. We saw Victor Bogash come in for the last few minutes of the game, and I honestly thought that Schwartz would wait for Bogash until New York perhaps picked up a third goal and it was a little safer. But again, Chupo going 88 minutes, that's fine. And then Sean Nealis comes in at 88 minutes to kind of buttress the defense. And things did, in fact, quiet down a little bit for the injury time period once they added another defender. But I mean, I think we have spoken all year long about the lack of game-changing depth for this team to bring in at the end of games. You're really bringing in support players to try and get over the line, to get to the final whistle, and they did. Again, I know it's a concern for Schwartz about, a flurry of late chances when they're desperately holding on to a lead, or perhaps in a situation where they're tied and they don't want to go down. But they got their third win of the year, and they got a win, Gustavo, that I think sends a message to the rest of the league that they can play with good teams. Their 3 wins, Nashville, Orlando, they're Nashville, Toronto, I guess not that great, but Chicago, I think, definitely is their best win of the season.
It's for sure. That is for sure. And another thing, they need to be more clinical. We saw some chances. The guys, they have to step up and score those goals. It was very unfortunate, that goal that Sofo scored, but he was a little bit offside, which was came from a beautiful pass from Serge too. You can't miss so many chances. You can't count on Carlos Coronel all the time. Sometimes he will make a mistake. Sometimes you will not be able to save those balls, especially that one right at the end. I think was 85th or 86th minute.
Yeah.
Guy was right in front of him. No time to react. And thank God, he was able to make that save.
Yep. The New York win moves them up to 8th with a 3-2-2 record. This is a very tight East. They're in 8th place. They're 4 points out of first. The top 9 teams in the East are separated by only 5 points on the table. We're closing in. We're a quarter of the way through the season. We're closing in on a third of the way through the season in a few weeks. There's no separation between these teams. They're beating each other. They're taking points off each other every week. Again, New York is yet to play a Western Conference team. They have 6 Western Conference games coming up. So these are all teams just taking care of it against each other. I'll ask you, sir, you have a bull of the match for a night where New York gets over the line, gets to the final whistle, and scores some pretty goals and wins 2-1 over Chicago. Yeah.
Even though I think Carlos had a big part during that win, I'm going to give to Serge. I think it was nice to see him scoring this year. It was nice to see him looking for the ball, creating chances, giving quality passes. So my bull of the week will go to Serge Ngoma.
I'm going to give mine again, in exactly in the same place where you are, sir, about Coronel and his importance in keeping New York in the match. It seems like this season he's had to do this every single week. So that's kind of like you could put Carlos's bull kind of on the shelf every week. But Omar Valencia, I mean, absolutely fantastic. Showed his speed, had some wonderful tackles to break up plays, and frankly, is willing to take on players in a way that we haven't seen a whole lot of this season, certainly from whoever's playing on the right side. Serge, again, great. He's actually scored in his last 2 starts for New York, which have come very far apart. I think his 4 goals as a teenager is among the league leaders of all goal scorers younger than 20 in the league. But and it's hard. It's crazy to think that he's still a teenager, but in fact he is. So I'm going to give mine to Omar Valencia. All right. This week, Saturday, New York takes on Orlando City for the second time this season, which is kind of weird. We won't see them again unless we see them in the Open Cup. Here's Orlando City for you. 3-2-2 for 11 points. Good enough for 6th in the East. They're tied with New York. They're ahead of New York on goal differential. They've scored 15 in 7 games, allowed 12 for the similar to what we saw against Chicago. They're tied for the best attack in the league. They're first in MLS in big chances and second in big chances missed. But that's, when you're scoring more goals than anyone else, I think you're okay with that. They also don't foul. They're tied for last in the league in fouls per match. They are also, as similar to what we saw against Chicago, they're tied for the goals in the last 15 minutes of games. New York was able to hold them off this past week against the Fire. They're tied with Atlanta, Chicago, and Seattle and Philadelphia for 4 goals after the 15th minute. And they are just 2-1 at home. Here's the last 5 For Orlando City, they had a 2-1 loss at City. They had our draw that we saw, very, very entertaining 2-2 draw at Harrison about a month ago. They then went to DCU and dropped a house on them 4-1 with 4 different goal scorers. They went to the Galaxy, and the Galaxy are hurting in such a big way. A 2-1 win. And then last week it was Galici's first clean sheet of the season, a scoreless draw at Philly. This is a pretty good mark considering that 4 of these games were away, and they're able to come out with 2 wins and 2 draws. Over this stretch, Muriel for Orlando has 2 goals, Ojeda has 3 goals, and Pasalic has 2 as well. So again, they're spreading the wealth up top. When we think about the stories about Orlando, goals galore, unsurprisingly, not changed within a month. Orlando City, they're scoring goals for fun. They did have this scoreless draw with Philly. They're one of the best teams in the league, most attacking categories, with Pasalic and Ojeda in terrific form. But defensively, and we saw this obviously when the Red Bulls played them a month ago in New York, Orlando City scores a lot of goals. They also concede a lot of goals, which is prevalent the last time these two sides faced off. You could probably expect goals, although Orlando's been better in recent weeks, conceding only twice in their last 3 games. This is the 25th all-time meeting between the teams. New York leads slightly, 11-9-4. At Orlando, though, the Red Bulls are even with Orlando City, 5-5-2 all-time at the stadiums that they've played in and what they've been called. New York hasn't lost to Orlando in 4 matches. You have to go back to June of 2023 when Andres Reyes got a red card and Facundo Torres had a brace in a 3-0 win in New Jersey. The last time these teams played, obviously, was just a few weeks ago. All-time leading scorer, Bradley, still. Active scorers are Lewis Morgan, who will not play in this game as he's still recovering, but Chupo and Yengar both scored back on March 14th. And here is what Oscar Pareja's prospective lineup looks like. This should not be a surprise. Again, these teams played a month ago. Galicia in the back, he has 1 clean sheet. He's conceded 11 times in 7 matches. Back line of Rafael Santos from Brazil, Robin Janssen, Rodrigo Schlegel, and Alex Freeman, an American playing for Oscar Pareja. Just imagine he doesn't like to play them. Central, the 6s are Edward Atuesta, who has an assist, and Cesar Araujo from Uruguay, who has a goal and assist. The attacking group includes Ivan Angulo on the left with an assist, Colombian. Then there's Ojeda, who's the number 10, 4 goals and 3 assists. And you can make an argument that if Orlando was perhaps doing a little bit better, he might be moving towards some sort of MVP discussion. Those are good numbers after 7 games. Pasalic, who scored against New York, a Croatian, 24 years old. He's the right wing, 4 goals and an assist. And Luis Muriel, the striker from Colombia, 3 goals and 2 assists, a 4-2-3-1. And so, my friend, these teams know each other really well. They're both, of quality. Orlando's playing at home for the first time in a long time. What do you think?
Very, very hard to play against this team because we've seen their quality. Everybody plays. They play and let you play too, which is a good point. The Red Bulls should be able to explore that. But nonetheless, I think I would call a 1-1 draw.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much that separates these teams. I also just want to say, for those watching on YouTube, my graphics had this game at 7:30. It is not. It's at 4:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. It's an afternoon matinee in Orlando. So all the Red Bull fans going down there can get their Disney on in the evening, I guess, go for those late hours. I wish I felt better about second half defense. And we talked about it already today on the show. Yes, they were able to outlast Chicago, and yes, they have similar attacking talent that Chicago does. I'm just not sure if I'm going to see it, if we haven't seen it on the road. The Red Bulls have played 3 away games. They've yet to win on the road. They have the loss at Cincinnati. They have the draw in Atlanta, which, I mean, for me was a win. And then, of course, the loss at the Revs. I don't know if I see them coming out of this. I think I'm going to call it a 2-1 Orlando win. When we're back on Seeing Red, we're going right to your email because it is that important and such wonderful, wonderful contributions from our fan base. So keep it here, please. Thanks. Back on Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. Red Bulls getting ready to go down to Orlando, take on Orlando City for what may be the final time this year. It is not yet May. That is very strange. New York will also finish their season series with Nashville in a few weeks. I don't get it. You can write us anytime at seeingredny@gmail.com. We have some fantastic emails. Gustavo, you want to help me read some of these?
Yeah. You want to start?
I'll take the first one. Here is Angel Kuritamai Elo Komono. You might know him on the socials. Hello, Sing Red. I was at the game this past weekend and enjoyed the beautiful dominance of our team against Tom Barlow and the Fireboys. We did not talk about Tom Barlow coming in the 62nd minute against New York and not scoring, as he often did when he was playing for New York, although there's a lot of Barlow hate out there. I will tell you that Tom Barlow is one of the loveliest people you will ever meet. And we wish him well. We do. And thank you for not scoring. When the song Metro Boys started being sung, I immediately jumped in and started singing my heart out with that one-on-one crowd. And as an ESC supporter since 2017, I've noticed there are certain supporter chants sung during crucial moments: twist and shout, attack, attack, attack. I wanted to get your thoughts on any personal chants, and if there are any past historical chants, since I wasn't present during the Giant Stadium days, that did not survive the test of time. I love supporting our team from the South Ward, as well as the inviting environment that the SGs do help make new people feel comfortable. I've heard of past negative experiences of certain individuals gatekeeping the fandom experience, but I believe that is few and far between. The South Ward is an amazing experience, and I hope all get to join us and consider to foster our love for the team, being Red Bulls or Metro Stars. Thank you for everything you do. That's Angel Kuritamai. Doing Wipeout at the end of the game, and again, I was in the South Ward this week, was a wonderful throwback. I have nothing but wonderful things to say about everyone in the South Ward. I will tell you that the songbook, and again, this is not me coming down on anyone. A factual note that the songbook used to be a lot more focused on individual teams and players that we were playing. There was a lot of spontaneity in the early South Ward chants, with the understanding that there were far fewer people in the South, at 101 in Giant Stadium than you currently see in the South Ward. There was really one supporters group and not the 3 that they are now. I will tell you, I'm very happy about how in sync the 3 groups are in the South Ward this year. I think that is a positive. I'll just say, not to get too far into it, but they were definitely chants for every team, and a lot more creativity. I think the songbook now is good, and lots of people get into it, and they're easy to understand and sing. But I will tell you that with that, there comes a lack of spontaneity about certain situations and things like that. It's really whatever you think. There used to be a very small and hysterical core of ESCers that would, on the fly, make up really hysterical chants that would just get picked up through the entire section. I don't want to say anything more about that. But I'm going to hand it off. Thank you so much, Angel, for your email. I'm going to hand it off to Gustavo, who's going to read Connor's email.
Connor, hi, Mark and Gustavo. Assuming everyone is healthy, is Sergey started on this team? Against the Fire, he was dynamic and always tried to make something happen when he was on the ball. His header was also well taken. Is the ideal front 4 show promoting Morgan, Forsberg, and Serge? or does Harper still have claim to that spot when healthy? On a separate note, did you see the Athletic article on introducing quality of play rankings in the MLS Next Pro? Would love to hear your thoughts on this and how something this subjective could impact styles of play in the future. I'm assuming a pressing or counterattack style might not be ranked as favorable.
Thank you, Connor, for your note. I mean, I'll hand it back to Gustavo in a second. I mean, I don't think Cam loses his spot necessarily. Listen, we've never really got to see Serge at full capability and full capacity. And, I think it's safe to say that he brings a slightly different wrinkle that our other attacking players at least haven't exhibited so far or exhibited in a little while with the Red Bulls. I mean, a flying snap header across the goal mouth. I mean, the idea that someone's making that run, we haven't seen a goal like that in a long time out of this team. I don't expect Chupo to make that play in that way. I would hate for Cam Harper to simply lose his spot as he comes back from injury. And Schwartz will tell you that this is a wonderful problem to have too many inform players that makes him choosing the starting 11 that difficult. What do you think?
I agree with you. We were never able to see him performing on a weekly basis, plays 15 minutes, get injured, and then stays out for a huge amount of time. But my answer would be no. As of now, I do like the quality that he possesses. He brings something different that the other players don't. He has the ability to be a number 9, to play in the box and move outside too. He's fast. He has qualities on a one versus one situation. But no, as of now, no. And would be a big mistake to see. Not a big mistake. I think would be not fair to Harper to sit him outside while Serge is on the field.
Yeah, I think, if Serge, and maybe it's Cam Harper that starts coming back by coming on at the 65th minute and using his speed and technical ability to break down defenses. I'd be all over that. The article about quality of play rankings rather than results for MLS Next Pro. I think quality of play is such a subjective type of, I mean, the idea that the league would mandate you need to play in this manner in order to do well. It seems to me, no insult to our friend Luis Robles, who is involved in MLS Next Pro, but I think it's I think it's a rule for rule's sake. And we see that a lot in MLS. There are times where, wanting to use the league as an innovation lab, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but actually you're basically just saying, what you're saying is the results don't matter. You're truly saying that MLS Next Pro is purely a developmental league, and perhaps that's just how the league views it. MLS views it. It's just a developmental league. The results don't matter. We just want to see good play. It's just kind of counter to me. Like, I would be more pleased about seeing that push down to the U10 to U14 level, and teaching kids that these are the fundamentals and this is how we want to play, rather than the score at the end of the game. I don't know. I mean, if it's a professional league, you want to have wins and losses and draws, or wins and losses in the case of, like, it's got to if the results don't matter, you're literally removing any reason for anyone to go see these games.
Exactly. I think it's a total absurd. It's a completely nonsense, because at the end of the day, soccer is about improvising too. The players have to have the freedom to improvise on the field, follow their instincts. And if you mandate them to play on a certain play style, you were cutting their wings. Let's put it this way. I completely disagree with that. Results matter.
I mean, these teams are playing in the U.S. Open Cup, right? Some of them, not all, I don't know if there are any left. There are barely any left, but just the idea that you're not playing to win, you're playing for aesthetic reasons. I don't know. It's just really strange. Or just be brutally upfront and say we don't care about the results whatsoever, and then don't make it a spectator experience. Just play all the games at the training center, and weird. All right.
Not cool.
Not fans. I'll read this one. Scott 6 says, Mark and Gustavo, of course, in a match I couldn't get to. Luckily, my kids could. Serge Goma starts and scores. It's almost a running joke that as a listener from North Plainfield, I care about his success to an outsized degree. We are a small, diverse, extremely proud community. Serge played 1 year of rec ball and then was snatched into the gears of the academy due to his talent. Well, I did get to see that young kid in the Red Bulls gear doing sprints and working out at the little exercise machines a half mile from my house in the park during my long COVID walks. His absence from the soccer fields in North Plainfield represented the dreams of hundreds of kids in our community and a largely immigrant or first-generation families obsessed with soccer cling to. What Serge has been through with the injuries has pained those of us who follow his every step. I was so gratifying to see him start, let alone score, and hope it's just the beginning, even if it's a little delayed. Scott in North Plainfield, yes, the win was also nice. All right, Scott. You've got the next one, sir.
I have Tim Cummings coming up.
Yes.
Hi, Mark and Gustavo. I'm a third-year Red member and love your show. You and your guests always enrich the entire fan experience through the informative and insightful information that you provide. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was at the game last night and have one comment to share. The pass that Noah Euler dropped to Valencia on the first goal was pristine.
Yes.
I'll be curious to hear your bull of the week, as I thought that several players performed at a high level. But that dude has got my vote. Thanks, Tim.
Tim, thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you for watching and or listening to Seeing Red. Yeah, I mean, Ayla has played very well. I actually mentioned to someone I was at the game with, I mean, I know he's got a few more years under contract, but I mean, Lord, the kid, what we're not seeing in year 2 is the mistakes and the own goals and the fouling in the box. Like, he is advancing in his game and is so important to this team going forward. I agree. We talked about it in the first segment. I mean, the pass was phenomenal, and yeah, really excited. And while neither Gustavo nor I picked him as our bull of the week, the pass was amazing. Only superseded by Valencia's cross, frankly. But yeah, that play doesn't happen, obviously, without Ayla. What do you think, sir?
I'm with you. I think he's the best center back in the league when it comes to distribution. Let's put it this way. I don't see anyone in the league with his qualities when he goes upfield, his vision, his executions. He's a really good finding. Whoever saw that kid, whoever scouted that kid playing and brought him here, thumbs up for you.
Yeah. The one play in the second half when he found himself with a ton of space and kept coming and found himself in the box surrounded by 3 or 4 Chicago defenders. And I mean, there are worse forwards that would not have really figured out a way out of that jam. He wanted to go forward. It didn't turn out for him, and he was dispossessed in the box. But it just showed that he has a multifaceted game. But nevertheless, here's our last email of the night. It's from our friend Zach Feldman, who does our stats. Good evening, Mark and Gustavo. I'm not writing to discuss the win over Chicago. It's fantastic as that was. I am instead writing with an interesting hypothetical. With Thomas Muller leaving Bayern Munich, I saw someone on social media raise an interesting question. I want to get your take on it. If you had to choose between Thomas Muller and Timo Werner, who would you choose and why? Just remember, I'm not suggesting the Red Bulls will sign either of these players. I know better. Just in a hypothetical world, which would you choose? Personally, I would take Werner, as we need more speed as opposed to another old and slow veteran. Let me know your thoughts, Zach. Do you feel the same way?
I feel the same way. Werner could easily be one of the best players in this league for the quality he possesses too. And I do appreciate what Thomas Muller could do, but it's a no for me.
Thomas Muller's, yeah. I mean, I just don't think the team needs another 35-year-old striker. Agreed with Gustavo that you know, in a pinch, sure, but I'd much rather, to be frank, watch Serge Goma come into his own, watch Cam Harper continue to develop, then, I mean, you're talking about a 35 plus, you know, guys in their mid 30s at the 10 and the 9, you know, and up top. It doesn't, with the speed in which Chupo gets closed down. And there are plenty who believe, you know, he's tied for the team lead in goals. Yes, he has 2 penalty kick goals, but you know, I think people have been overjoyed with the play of Chupo. I mean, I think he's done a terrific job. He certainly, I think Red Bull fans all acknowledge, you know, he doesn't have speed, but he does have the ability to hold the ball and distribute and finish, and really be a focal point of the offense. And as we've talked about, if Lewis Morgan was healthy, I think that there would be even more opportunity for him because defenses would have to focus on 2 quality attacking threats.
And let's be frankly, if you're Lionel Messi, yes, you can come here at any age.
Right.
If you're not him, thank you.
Any thoughts on Kevin De Bruyne perhaps going to Miami?
It's an interesting move, but come on, MLS. It's not cool to have every good quality player joining into Miami only. You know, let's spread the word. Let's spread the players and
He doesn't want to go to Colorado.
raise the level.
Doesn't want to go to St. Louis. I'm just glad he's not going to the Bronx. They've lost 2 in a row. Makes me happy. Thank you, Zach.
I honestly thought De Bruyne could ended up at the Bronx.
Really? Right.
Hopefully
well, sure.
not, but
yeah. I'm happy for it. We've come to an end of a fantastic Seeing Red. We'd like to certainly thank Zach Feldman for stats. Again, the game is 4:30 on Saturday afternoon. Gustavo calls the game a
1-1 draw.
I'm going to call it a 2-1 loss. Gustavo, where can people find you?
People can find me on pitchsideus.com or on X2, which I've been thinking about leaving due to political views, which I'm not gonna, talk about here. And I just want to say something to those that still have their grandmas. Give them a kiss.
Yes.
Tell them I love you, and
yes,
that can make a difference.
Yes. Agreed 100%. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week with a regular expanded Seeing Red, but we appreciate you sticking with us. For Gustavo, I'm Mark Fishkin saying thanks so much. Let's go Red Bulls. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.